I'm sorry, but the Looksmaxing community is one of the most insecure and sad communities I've ever seen in my life. So what you just watched was a looksmaxing or black pill edit of me because a few months ago I made a video about the cringe world of looksmaxing, calling out how this looksmaxing epidemic is pretty cringe and it's toxic because it's just making you hyper focus on these small things that you really shouldn't be worried about. No one's perfect, so why try to do all these things to be perfect? And me being right, these looksmaxers decide to make an edit of me calling it cope and calling me a sub 5, saying that I'm ugly. And in that video I also called them out for making these weird edits, flexing other dudes' looks, yet they wouldn't even show their face on their account. And when I did that, they would claim that I was proving the black pill right. When in that video, I never said that looks don't matter. I just said that looks aren't everything. And of course, if you're gonna sit there making videos of other people's looks, I would expect you to have your face on your account, especially when you're making fun of people's looks who have birth defects. Like, they made a whole edit on this one dude, basically calling him ugly and saying that it's over for him because he has a cleft lip. It's disgusting. Look, I may not be the most attractive guy in the world, but I have many other qualities that people will like. And I promise you, this dude who has a cleft lip as well has many qualities that other people would like. Call it cope, but in my honest opinion, I call it being grateful and being optimistic, which is what a lot of these looksmaxers and black pillars lack. I'm grateful that I don't wake up every single day hating the way I look to the point where I'm smashing my skull in with a hammer. But honestly, if you're a looksmaxer and you hate my opinion on this stuff, make way more edits of me calling me chopped, all this stuff. The more you guys make, the more I'll make videos on this stuff. I'll make a whole video reacting to your guys' looksmaxing edits of me. Please make them. That would be hilarious. But yeah, in today's video, we're going to talk about looksmaxing once again. And later in this video, we'll actually take a look at the comments on my last video because a lot of people disagreed with me. Also, another thing, I can't lie, in that video, I did get a few things wrong. Like, I didn't know some of the terms for the certain facial bones, and also just some of the looksmaxing terms and scales of looksmaxing / black pill. But my overall point was that this looksmaxing stuff is cringe. And once again, don't get me wrong, looks do matter, but don't make it your top priority to the point where you're hitting yourself in the face with a hammer at 15 years old.
This is how to bone smash. I have my Sharpie here. See this area right here? Your cheekbones, your zygos right here. I'm just going to be marking where I'm going to be doing it. In these two areas, I'm just going to start hammering at this. I'm just going to be doing a shorter version. Normally I do it 5 minutes on each side. So 10 minutes in total. I'm just going to do a short thing. Yeah, you gotta brace your head.
This is a young guy hitting his face with the hammer to look better. I don't care what your stance is, but you can't tell me that this is good. As a society, this shouldn't be something that's celebrated, in my opinion. While there is some science to it, they do this because of Wolff's Law, which is the principle that bones adapt their structure in the response of the mechanical stress placed on them. Some Muay Thai fighters actually do this to condition their shins. They'll kick hard metal poles to create microfractures so that when they repair, their shins just become even stronger. But again, I don't think this is good, especially to young men. Number one, you can get extremely hurt from doing this. Number two, you'll never be satisfied after it. You'll search for the next thing you can change. And number three, it's going to frame your entire worth around your appearance. And the day that you don't look good to the looksmaxing standard, you're going to feel terrible about yourself. Like, hyper focusing on your looks is just going to drive you insane to the point where you're on these forums trying to see how to get rid of the left chin hair on your face because it stands out too much. That's what these looksmaxers are on. These dudes could do every single tactic and get every single surgery in the world to look attractive, and they still wouldn't be satisfied. And that's the sad part about this. A lot of young men are going down this pipeline and it's toxic. Like the guy who was bone smashing in that recent video. That guy is young. He doesn't have his age or anything in his bio, but he looks about maybe 16, 17 years old. He's not even finished with puberty yet, and he's trying to change his facial structure. That is bad. And speaking of changing your facial structure, one thing that's popular with the looksmaxing community is this thing called a double jaw surgery, which is a procedure done by doctors that repositions both the upper and lower jaws at the same time to correct severe misalignments and improve facial aesthetics. And this is something that's really only needed when you have a severe jaw misalignment, like a severe overbite or severe underbite. But these Looksmaxers glorify this surgery because the befores and afters are extremely dramatic, and it changes your bone structure and your side profile. And from doing this as a Looksmaxer, you can go from low on the scale to pretty high on the scale. A double jaw surgery slash Bimax would genuinely change my life. And the crazy part is, this isn't even a bad looking dude. I promise you, he's probably pulling a bunch of girls, right? But he's so hyper focused on getting this double jaw surgery because he went down the Looksmaxing pipeline, when in reality, he doesn't need this double jaw surgery. I mean, look at the dude. He thinks that this double jaw surgery is gonna make him look perfect, when in reality, if he were to get this, he'd look for the next thing to get and the next thing to get, and he'll never be satisfied after that. And he's also acting like this thing can't go wrong. I mean, there's plenty of botched surgeries out there. I don't know, y'all may disagree with this, but I'm just not a fan of these surgeries unless they're really needed. Getting these surgeries in the hopes of going up on the Looksmaxing scale is just pretty stupid. This dude doesn't need surgery, he just needs character. He needs self-confidence. And I can see he already has confidence, you know? But just be confident enough in yourself that you don't need that double jaw surgery to pull even more girls. Maybe become funnier, maybe build more character. Building that character starts after you realize that no one in this world is perfect, so why try to strive for perfection? In my opinion, you don't need all these extreme procedures done yourself. Groom yourself properly, have good hygiene, hit the gym, eat well, build good character, and that's really all you need. You don't need these extreme surgeries or dangerous tactics to pull women, bruh. And the whole reason I really wanted to revisit this Looksmaxing topic is because it's gotten even more popular since my last video. People are considering it mainstream now, because recently there's been an influencer popping off by the name of Clavicular, who's a 19-year-old, who's apparently the Looksmaxing god to these losers. And he's super dedicated to Looksmaxing to the point where it's taken over his whole life. Like, this guy is a teenager still, but his whole world is Looksmaxing. All he cares about is mogging, which, if you're unfamiliar with the term, it basically means to outshine whoever's next to you. Let's say me and you take a picture and I look better than you. That means that I mogged you. And that's this dude's goal in life, to look better than other people and to get compliments from other people from looking better.
I mean, the goal is to mog, okay? I just want to mog. I don't give a fuck about getting girls. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I want to mog people, right? I want to walk into a room and people are like, holy shit, look at this guy.
Like, this is just sad. Maybe it's because when he was like super young, he just wasn't seen enough, so he feels that if he does all this stuff, he's gonna be more seen. It's just sad, and you can see that this dude is insecure. And what makes me think this is a lack of attention even more is because, I mean, there was this clip I saw of him while doing the research of this, where he was bone smashing in front of his parents, and they were telling this man to go away.
At that point in time, institutions sit down in the morning with their portfolio managers and their analysts and say, oh, they were gonna make six.
I'm not gonna lie, his parents are correct right there, bruh. I'd disown my son if he was bone smashing. This guy is the insecure final boss. He's so insecure that he can't even pick up a slice of pizza. Dude isn't even a bad looking dude. No matter how much Looksmaxing this guy does, he could be the best looking person in the entire world. Yet you can tell he's still insecure. And that is sad. He'll never be secure with himself. And I can't lie, Clav definitely, like, you can see he's improved his looks from when he started to now. But you could also attribute that to puberty, because I mean, the dude, I think he started when he was like maybe 16, 17 years old, somewhere around there. And now he's 19. And since Clav just wants to mog everyone to reach this goal of being at his best, he's doing everything possible, like wearing makeup, getting surgeries, taking steroids, and even doing math. But switch that A with an E.
Wait, is it true you do math? Somebody told me you do math too.
I do math, yes. So I do math to, you know, basically suppress my appetite and try to get leaner. It's really not as bad as people think.
How do you take it?
Intranasally,
I'm sorry, what is that?
like up your nose.
This dude is snorting math to suppress his appetite. This is disgusting, man. There's something in me that wants to say that this dude is trolling, but I highly doubt that, considering that he also used to hit himself in the face with hard objects. I'm not surprised why he thinks this is just something that's okay to do.
I think men should wear makeup because it's the best way to conceal different flaws in your face without actually addressing the underlying issues. A lot of men are super against using makeup, and I don't know why. It's just about not getting caught. If you could use makeup and no one knows, then there's no reason why you shouldn't.
What kinds of makeup do you wear?
Using a microbrow pencil to fill in any gaps in growth, great way to make them look a little bit more full, a bit more striking. Anyone could have perfect eyebrows.
This is my biggest issue with this. It's all about hiding your flaws instead of embracing them. Like, nobody is perfect, and they're striving so hard to become perfect when being perfect just isn't real. It's just not real. To embrace the fact that you have flaws is to be secure with yourself. And none of these dudes care about being secure with themselves. All they care about are the compliments from others because they don't feel like they're enough in this world. And that's why they're never satisfied with how they look. I think more people just gotta accept the fact that, hey, people have flaws, man. No one's perfect. I accepted the fact that I have a big forehead. I mean, I could go out and get surgery, you know, maybe get a hairline surgery or whatever to make it look better, but I'm happy with how I look. Obviously, there's room for improvement, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get some sort of surgery to make my forehead smaller. This forehead is a staple, dog. This isn't going anywhere.
Are you spending $100,000 on surgery to go from 6'2" to 6'6"?
That is more about presence. You walk into a room, people notice, right? Because people will come up to me, they'll say, oh, well, 6'2", you know, that's already very tall. But in terms of percentiles, it's only 91st percentile, right? 6'6", we get to 99th. I'm someone who wants to be the best, right? And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. The unfortunate part about limb lengthening surgery is almost no one is going to be able to do it because you're going to have to be out of work for 6 months to a year. You're going to be hospitalized for the first 3 weeks. You're pretty much immobile for the first 3 months. The next 3 months after that, you know, you're really not going to be able to walk without crutches and stuff like that. So getting away from work for that long is just not possible by most people. And not to mention the outrageous prices. So it's a very treacherous process. It's very painful. You know, you have to be under close supervision with doctors, and you really have to gauge the value. Is this something that's worth it to you? Because it's a horrible process, and there's no beating around the bush on that.
Doing all this just for people to be like, hey, that guy's tall. Insecure final boss. This dude is extremely insecure, and I just feel bad, bro. Sure, being tall is a plus, but I don't think being tall is everything. There's no point in getting height lengthening surgery, because I promise you, the moment you have kids, and let's say you're a short man, look, I'm 5'7". Imagine if I got height lengthening surgery, I went to like 6'2", and my kids grow up to be like 5'3" or 4. I'd be like, dang, man, that's rough. They're gonna be like, Dad, why am I not as tall as you? Man, you gotta get your bread up and get that height lengthening surgery. Sure, most women care about height, but I don't think it's to the extent that people make it to be online. Some people think that if you're not tall, then you're cooked, when in reality, that's just not true. Maturing is realizing if you're shorter than 6 feet, it's over for you. I feel like that's not maturing. I think that's more of you dematuring if you're thinking that being under 6 feet means that you're cooked. If anything, I think your brain is cooked for thinking that you have to be over 6 feet or you're cooked in society. There's many great people in the world who are short, man. Being tall, yeah, it's a plus, but it's not everything, brother. Back to Clav, though. Since he was popping off and losers attract losers, he decided to go on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and he decided to rate women because that's something that a lot of these Looksmaxers love to do. They like rating people.
I'm going to give you a 4 out of 10. I'm definitely.
Wait. Do you want him to say like why you gave the rating and how they can improve? Can you give him say why they? So she got 3.5. Why and how can she improve?
Well, her mid face is way too long. Obviously, she's got the jowls coming in, horrible nasolabial folds. You know, horrible total facial width to height ratio. Just really bad age indicators. But obviously, at 30, that's not something really that's going to surprise me. Her upper maxilla is super recessed, horrible infraorbitals. That's why your under eyes are coming in like hell. Really recessed chin. You know, all the facial convexities are wrong. Her radix is recessed. You know, moving on. Okay, well, how much time do we have on the podcast?
This dude, I'm not gonna lie, this dude Clav would be an amazing doctor. And I say that because this dude has a lot of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. I'm not gonna discredit him at all. He knows all the facial bones. He knows all this stuff, right? But I feel like he's just using this stuff for the wrong reasons. I hate to say it, but this looksmaxing stuff is just gonna be the new red pill. Like, y'all remember how back in 2021, 2020, and like 2022, 2023, there were all those red pill alpha males that were coming up saying all this stuff about women? The new red pill is just this looksmaxing stuff. And it's gonna get even more annoying by the year. And it's also gonna get extremely dangerous. That red pill stuff got dangerous, but I feel like this looksmaxing stuff is gonna get even more dangerous. There's gonna be little kids hitting their face with hammers because they're not attractive enough when they're like 8 years old. They shouldn't be worried about this. Another person Clav decided to rate is the streamer Marlon, which I'm pretty sure we all know who Marlon is, but if you don't, he's this streamer who is also a model, and no homo, but he's a pretty good looking dude, you know? And this is what Clav had to say about him because, you know, he's a looksmaxer and he follows this looksmaxing scale to the T.
What would you rate Marlon on a scale from 1 to 10?
I would rate Marlon between a 7.5 and an 8 out of 10. So I'd put him right around Chad. Extremely good looking, very mager. So I'd rate him Chad.
What's his like main negative?
His main negative is his mandibular growth, right? So he's got a bit of a recessed mandible. You look at some of the clips of him in motion from the side profile. His chin is slightly recessed. You know, obviously we're being hypercritical just for the objective rating. I think he's better looking than me before anyone goes crazy. But it's just like if we're being hyper analytical, that like these small things take him down a little bit in terms of his points.
He's pointing out all these things that really just don't matter, bruh. Just look at Marlon, bro. He's a good looking dude. Pause on that. No homo. So why even hyper analyze this stuff? But yeah, like I said, this dude Clav, he could become a doctor. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff. I just feel like he's using it for the wrong reasons, man. Now, Clav, since he's also popping off, he's been streaming a lot with people like Aiden Ross, Cuffham, and Neon, the 3 horsemen of cancer streaming. Neon's been a bit better now, but Aiden and Cuffham are pretty bad. And now Clav, he's here and he's the 4th cancer. He's been streaming a lot and acting all edgy, trying to be cool by saying things like the N-word live because, hey, nobody can cancel me. I'm a Chad, when it's just corny. Because I know he wouldn't say this to any other black person to their face. He only says it because the King Rigby, the raccoon, Cuffham, allows him to.
It gets like overwhelming.
Be real, you think like hella girls would approach me like as like they want to fuck with me? Like you saw me in person. And bro, we're close now. You can be honest. Be real.
Fuck no.
And in one of Clav's streams, he was actually giving his girlfriend, who's 17, these fat dissolving face shots.
Nigga, I hear you got the plug for those fresh Stacy's. Hit me up, nigga.
Dude, I can already see clips. Clav injects meth on
Chat, we're looksmaxing her. It's all good.
I know people are gonna fry me for this, which I don't know why. This is an ice cold take. This shouldn't be a hot take in today's day and age. I think everyone should agree with this, but I don't think a 17-year-old should be taking these fat dissolving injections to the face out of a random syringe. Hot take. You know, I may get canceled for that. But I don't think that should be happening. People are going to be calling me crazy for saying that. But this is just weird. And I think the weirdest part is that this guy's audience is so young. So they're going to take this into account and they're going to think that this is something that's okay. They're doing this just like it's something normal when this is dangerous and you shouldn't be doing this. Watching looksmaxers convince little kids they're ugly. They haven't even gone through puberty yet and they're being told it's over for them. Looksmaxing is literally a ploy for companies to make money by destroying men's mental health. I highly agree with that. Like I said, looks do matter, but there's other things you can focus on other than just looks. These companies are trying to sell you a solution to a problem that just doesn't exist. The reason this stuff is so pushed is because they want you to be insecure about a small thing so you could buy the cure, when that small thing really doesn't matter at all. When the real cure, if we're being honest, is just self-love. And this looksmaxing stuff is also destroying women because you got women out here taking X-Acto knives, trying to make little cuts within their eyes to get up on that scale. This stuff is just disgusting. But like I said, my last looksmaxing video got a lot of comments, so why not respond to some of those within this video? Of course, it's a sub 5. So if I was attractive, would you take what I'm saying into account, or would you just say that, of course, it's an attractive person saying this? I wonder. I can smell the edits coming for you. Please make more edits of me. I'd laugh at every single one of them. I'm gonna laugh because there's gonna be many looksmaxers out there that pay for all these surgeries and they're not gonna be satisfied. I'm gonna be over here looking just normal and be satisfied with how I look. Please make more edits of me because I promise 10 years from now, we're gonna bring this clip up and we're gonna talk about this exact same thing. And y'all are gonna see that I'm happy, but these looksmaxers aren't. Of course, it's a sub 5 incel that's making a video about looksmaxing. Definitely just a sub 5 incel, man. This video is just normie cope. They'll see the less sane side of looksmaxing and write off the entire movement. Actually, when I think about it, it's a good thing normies don't wake up to it, because that means less people improving themselves, thus less competition. Once again, in that video, I mean, I said that there's nothing wrong with trying to maximize the way you look. But I think it becomes a huge problem when you're doing all these crazy surgeries and extreme things to achieve that look. I just don't think that's good. Call it normie cope, but hey man, I just think it's pretty stupid. You ugly. With a capital ugly. What do you mean I'm ugly? I'm like the second coming of Marlon, dog. I get it, but calling looksmaxers cringe is like bullying a kid because he can't make friends. Bro, what are you talking about? I don't think that's anywhere near what that is. And yeah, this stuff is cringe. It is very cringe. If you don't see that it's cringe, then you're a part of the problem. You look terrible, dude. Well, I mean, I look terrible to your scale, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that maybe might think I'm attractive. So why does the way that you think that I look matter if there's other people out there that maybe think that I'm attractive? Who cares? Look at your chin, hair, eyebrows, brother. Oh man, you may mog me when it comes to my chin, my hair, and my eyebrows and everything, man, but at the end of the day, those are things that I can't really control. One thing I can control though is the amount of money that goes into my bank account each month, which you probably can as well. And let's just say I mog you, brother. I don't mean to be that guy, but I definitely mog you, brother, when it comes to that. I also mog you when it comes to just self-love, man. I mog your self-love, dude. Sub 5 got triggered. See, look, I may have gotten triggered a little bit, but would you say that you got triggered as well for commenting that? It's over for bro. Heartbreak emoji. I mean, if it's over for me because I love myself, then what does that mean for you? Is it over for you if you can't afford these certain surgeries that you want to get to look better? And if you get those surgeries, then you'll still be unhappy? Is it really over for me, or is it just more over for you? Like, let me know. This video proves exactly Black Pill's point, and also how our society has felt past years, and how much our IQs have felt. If you see a Black Pill edit with sad music, saw disabled people, and you think they are making fun of them, this shows how stupid you are. Of course, most of these methods of looksmaxing are copes, but also this is how dumb most of you are. Nad, in the same time you asked for a face reveal. Never mind, Grays. I had a complete stroke trying to read that. That isn't me proving Black Pill right. That's just me saying that if you're gonna make fun of somebody else's looks, why not show your face? And these Black Pillers were making fun of people with birth defects. If you think that's something that's okay, then you're just an idiot. You're a disgusting human being. And I like how this guy is trying to talk about IQs when this guy's IQ is so low that he can't even understand my point. I think this video is wrong and just points on the worst parts of looksmaxing, but being honest, this generation needs it. This generation does not need this extreme looksmaxing. All they need to know is to have good hygiene, groom yourself properly, be a good person, build good character, have a routine, and boom, you're good. You don't need all this other stuff. Of course, a Yakub looking sub 5 calls looksmaxing cringe. When your fourth wife divorces you for Chad, maybe then you will swallow the BP. That is so cringe. Oh my gosh, that was the cringiest comment I have ever seen. This guy is definitely 3 years old. He's definitely 3. I'm gonna cut him some slack though, because maybe his frontal lobe hasn't fully developed. By judging them for not showing their faces in their vids, demeaning them as ugly for not doing so, and bundling them as cringe for that and joking about it, you're basically proving their point that looks are everything. You're literally reducing them to their appearance and judging based on that. That's literally their point that people do that like you do. You're literally proving their own point right there. Once again, I'm not proving their point. I'm just saying that if you're going to make fun of other people's looks, you should at least show what you look like first. Holy jaw asymmetry. Average sub 5 triggered. Over for you, sub 5. Lamau, bro. Lamau. That's like the only response that these looksmaxers have. They'll just be like, oh, you're a sub 5. And that's it. Then they just go into their room and cry because they weren't born a certain way. Notice how the only people who criticize looksmax and all are chopped as F. Ha ha ha. It's so insane how they're right about society in general. Next time, if you feel insecure, fam, don't make a video about kids. Kids like literally teens. It's crazy when you're a grown ass man. Holy shit. I think the thing is, I'm making videos about this so people don't fall down that pipeline and become extremely insecure. It's crazy that you don't see that you're insecure, yet you're calling me insecure for making a video about it. I think you guys are more insecure than anyone on this entire planet because you guys are getting all these surgeries and still being unhappy after you get these surgeries. So who's really insecure? It's like if they were sitting here judging how much money other people were making each month, yet they weren't talking about how much they made each month. Obviously, I'm gonna ask that question, how much do you make each month, to feel like you can judge other people on how much they make each month. And if you can't understand that, then once again, you are just an idiot. Of course you look like that, Lamau. Yeah, of course I do look like that. I look like a great guy. Your forehead is the world. That is actually a funny comment. I can't lie. That's actually really funny. In conclusion, love yourself and accept your imperfections. Look, no one is perfect in this world, so never try to strive for perfection. The moment you get over that hill where you can accept your imperfections is the moment you really start living. Once again, I think looks matter, but there's other things you can focus on other than just looks. These companies are literally just trying to sell you a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. They want you to be insecure about a small thing so you could buy that cure, when the real cure is self-love. But yeah, all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Twitch CamWak, Twitter CamWak, Instagram CamWak, Discord link in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video. It'll be right up here on the screen. All that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.